Good.
Good evening. I would like to call the October 15th, 2025 Business Committee meeting of Insurance, Finance, and Transportation to order. Item B, roll call, please.
Mr. Clyde Duplantis, Ms. Buffy Lynn Sharpenshade.
Here.
Ms. Tina Malkian Babin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 2, insurance. To consider the renewal of short-term and long-term disability for 2026 as presented by Buddy Leday of Gallagher Benefit Services Incorporated. Mr. Leday, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. So short and long-term disability, we're up for renewal this year. What that means is that typically we'll get rate guarantees over a certain period of time, and after that, then we'll shop it. We'll go out for renewal. Coming off a 3-year rate guarantee, very simply, they offer to hold rates for another 3 years. So the same rates you've had for the past 3 years for another 3 years for short-term and long-term disability. That is with New York Life.
Very good news. I have a motion by Ms. Babin, and I will second. Do we have any comments from the public? I don't see any public. Any board discussion or comments?
That is great that we got the same.
Just y'all thank Delilah. She's very good at negotiations, and so she didn't have to get involved in this one at all. She was able to get that all taken care of, so she does a good job. Yep, she's great at it.
Any other comments? Hearing no further comments, let us signify our vote by saying aye if we are in favor. Aye. With no opposition, the motion carries. Item B, to consider the renewal of life insurance for 2026 as presented by the Committee of Gallagher Benefit Services Incorporated.
The life and voluntary life were up for renewal as well. They discussed the experience. There have been some claims. So there was a need for a renewal increase. It was actually running at 123% loss ratio. They paid out a lot more than they've taken in. They wanted to go with a renewal increase. Delilah, again, did a good job of negotiating with them to hold the rates regardless of the losses they've taken, but they only were able to do it for 1 more year. The hope is that, and that's what she told them, to preserve the business. If we were going out to market this year, they were going to move it. And like all likelihood, right? Mm-hmm. So we said, if we go out, don't go out to market, can you give it 1 more year hold rate? If the claims ratio goes down from the 123 and it's a decent year, good chance we won't have to ever move. And life insurance is, I've got a lot of stuff going on life insurance, especially with the retiree life and things like that. So it's something, if we can hold rate and stay put, we learn that about a lot of things these days. Then we suggest that we do. So we got a 1-year rate guarantee to keep the rates as is for 1 more year. So.
I have a motion from Ms. Babin, and I will second. Do we have any comments or any discussion from the board? Ms. Fertitta?
And I just want to say that we've lost so many teachers this year. They always announce the names of them at the retired teachers luncheon, and it was unbelievable.
So, yeah, we hope it's a better year.
Any other board comments? Hearing no other comments, let's please vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Hearing no opposition, the motion carries. Item C, to receive a quarterly performance report on the self-funded medical plan, also presented by Mr. Buddy Leday of Gallagher Benefit Services Incorporated.
The ag report, guys. Gosh, Mary, you always say I have a way of making things sound good. Let me try the best I can here. Yeah. So, guys, as you know, this is the claims history of the account. Y'all know how it works. We've done negotiation in the pharmacy. We've done that on 3 occasions now. Medicare Advantage, that's going really well. It saved the district a lot of money. There's some really rough stuff going on right now in the district, and there's a twofold thing going on. We've talked about the increased cost of certain drugs that are really out of control. There's nothing we can really do about that. We have all these pre-authorizations and processes in place. We get complaints a lot that people aren't getting approval for the drug. So there are things in place to stop people from getting it if they don't need it. But if they need it, they're getting it and it's expensive. And we got some really bad health situations going on right now in the district. It's tough, right? Year to date, you'll see from a month-to-month basis, it's been pretty consistent lately from May until, September, around 2.2, 2.3 million per month. That's strictly claims. The gross claims year to date are right over 19 million. Specific reimbursements, that's people who went over that specific reinsurance mark of 300K that you guys cover yourselves. We've gotten reimbursed 1.5 million, and we're about to get another 700 and something thousand. That's how much claims are going over spec. So these numbers will improve a little bit to the tune of about 700K that we're about to get reimbursed. The drug rebates and subsidies, that's a little over $1 million. We should be getting a little more of that soon, so that might help a little bit too. So that's your net claims after that. Fixed costs, that's your reinsurance and your administrative costs. We just renewed administrative costs. Reinsurance isn't looking good, guys. We're trying, we're doing what we can. We received the renewal today, and we have some lasers that we need to talk about. What a laser is when the person has a serious condition and there are 3 major serious upcoming things or ongoing things. We've got $1.5 million laser in there, another 700. So we're going to negotiate and do the best we can to find alternatives, but reinsurance will not only see some lasers, in all likelihood it'll see some increases to what they're charging because they're paying out a lot more money than they're taking in. That's fixed costs. Humana premium, we already talked about what we did with Humana. Good news on that. That was good. Total annual cost there, and then total number of actives on the plan. Actives and retirees. Total employee retiree funding 5.3 million. Level school board funding, that's 8.6. So we've kept it steady like that for a reason. We are just budgeting into the budget, and what we're doing is we're showing how much more percentage-wise the school district is paying. The year to date, the school board has funded additional funding of almost $5.8 million. And that means the school board is paying almost 73% of the total cost of the plan. And the employees are paying the other 27%. Isn't bad, I guess. You want to take care of your employees and pay a high percentage. At the same time, when it's all coming out of excess extra fund, it's going to continue to show y'all paying more of the percentage. So again, I commend you guys for standing your ground and not raising the rates to the employees. It's been some time, which is amazing, considering the performance of the plan. The monthly average is 2.2 roughly million, 14% above last year. Guys, y'all are right on trend. I mean, it's not completely uncommon. Medical trend and pharmacy trends, like the 10, 12 range, are not that far off. So it's expensive right now. We are looking at some potential things, but it's very hard as a public entity to do some of the things you might hear that are being done in the private sector, because you just can't. And some of the things that are being done in the private sector are borderline okay, but people find loopholes. And in the public sector, you can't ask somebody to get off the insurance and pay for it on the side. You just can't do it. Okay, so we're looking at anything else that might be out there as best we can. And drive some serious stuff on. So, FedLogic, something we talked about last time. Chastity, this is hot off the press. We just talked about it, but what we're going to do is go back to FedLogic with the 3 lasers, and tell them specifically what they're going on before we agree, and ask them if that's something they feel that they can work with. And what FedLogic does is they try to identify programs, like certain conditions that people have, they can get on certain government coverages and not cost anything. Okay. I have a friend of mine, has a great job, great insurance. His daughter needed a kidney transplant, but she was not on his insurance. She was able to get Medicare and cover it all. So those are the things that FedLogic helps direct employees who may have serious conditions. They also help direct employees who may be over 65 and still on insurance. Some of those options, again, that gets tricky. And that's something we've talked about because there are certain rules in your policy that ask your employees to be on their coverage for X amount of years before they retire to get the best price in retirement. I think if we do something with FedLogic and people start saying, well, I'm going to get off of this, I'm 65, I'm Medicare eligible, so I'll go get that and take a Medicare supplement or whatever it is that's more beneficial than this, we can't hold that against them for that 10 years when they do actually stop working. Because you can't be on the Medicare Advantage until you stop working. Retiree's over. So something we're going to look at, and I think FedLogic would help direct it. And in the event, we need to come back to the policy committee and talk about that particular thing, which is something we talked about for a while. Jared and I have talked about it. I don't think it's something we need anymore. I think there's been a sentiment of, well, if somebody's going to, get this insurance in retirement, they should have put in, right? But at the same time, we don't want to encourage people to be. Clearly, it's not, so we probably need to revisit that. So, thoughts, questions, comments?
Just out of curiosity, and you might not be able to answer it, and that's fine, you can come back next month and maybe tell us, but I would like to know just how long has it been since we actually had an employee rate increase? Not that I'm saying that that's something that, I'm just curious, and I'd like for us to know, if you could tell us. And like I said, you don't have to be able to answer it right now. Even if you just come back with it next meeting, I would really appreciate that.
I think it's 17.
I'm looking back and trying to decipher.
No.
2017.
I'm sorry, 2017, okay.
Would be pretty close to that.
I think you're correct.
Plus or minus one. I've been here since 19, and we have not touched it since then. And I believe we went up to the family plan of being $700 and some odd dollars in 17.
I'll confirm, but I'll believe.
I just would like to know, showing that we've been static.
Remember being so poor for.
Well, and there's a whole bunch of pieces to it, right? There's a lot about recruitment and retention involved in those decisions, not just the financial aspects of the plan. We're competing. So, and Jared and I have spoken at length about that, and Chastity and I as well. So, again, when we have these strategic discussions a lot, guys, and if there's any new ideas that you might have, we're all open to it.
And Ms. Lede, we have talked about this a lot, but I just want to make sure I do understand. So when it says average number of employees on Blue Cross is 1559, that's not the number of belly buttons insured.
No.
That's the number of participants in our active plan, correct?
Correct.
And so if you divide that number of employees, not belly buttons, but employees on the plan at $2,192 a month, it comes out to $1,400 of total cost to provide health insurance, prescription, and all of the things, right, to an employee. That's a competitive rate to go and get medical insurance when you look at not belly buttons insured, but as an employee goes, $1,406 a month is.
I had a group this week. Renewal came in. The family rate is over $3,000. Wow.
Right. So I just wanted to put in perspective, while this is expensive, when you look at the cost of health insurance nationally,
It's a self-funded plan. It's meant to be. You couldn't be fully insured. Add another 20% to this. You know what I'm saying? Long term, we ran the numbers one time. We ran some idea. It was probably by now, it's probably $30-40 million at least y'all are ahead since going self-funded. No, it's 100%, right? So, yeah.
I just have a question that when we meet with teachers at the beginning of the year, we explain that to them, that when you look at our insurance coverage as compared to what you would have to pay outside, not having a raise in 17, an increase in 17, and that we are competitive.
That's why I asked the question as well. I'm sorry, but that's why I asked, because I really think that the employee would appreciate the fact that we haven't done it so many years.
When Buddy talked about retention, I think they need to understand.
yes, sir. And so the challenge with that is To your point, we probably don't do as well a job on that front as we could. But secondly, we're surrounded by districts that have done a better job in this space than we have. Terrebonne Parish, previous superintendent.
Nameless.
The nameless parish to the west of us. I mean, they were just maniacally committed to, as an employee, for you, it's zero. And so what happens is, if you're a young teacher coming out of university, hey, I want to go work for you. What's your salary? It's this, but your insurance is free. So that 73% that he keeps pointing, rightfully so, because it's a very big bill that comes to that. For those employees in the parish nameless to the west, it's 100. They are funding 100%.
So it's still the case?
It's still the case. And again, I question the sustainability of that, because what happens is we then disproportionately have to put the employee cost to those who have families, because you're getting it for free, but as soon as you add children, it's going to cost more.
And we ran the numbers a few years ago. We had our actuaries run the numbers. We haven't revisited it because it was so astronomically insane of how much more it would cost the district. There was no way to do it. And a lot of times, look, when we come into these situations, and we've been with you guys a long time, like, you're working with what's there a lot of times, right? And you're trying to your point, do we tell them that? We do. When the open enrollment video is, these are your rates, and they know it's the same rates and the changes aren't happening. At the same time, it tends to open up a discussion about, yeah, but.
Yeah, of course.
So
That's why I'm sometimes terrified to touch it, because we have neighbors that pay more, there's raw salary a whole bunch more, and so even if I have to pay $200 a month for health insurance, I'm being paid more, and then another district pays the same, but for a single individual or a married couple that happen to both be teachers,
and y'all got other districts around that are OGB. The thing about OGB is that you have no control over that contribution level. So they're going to tell you this is what it's going to be. So in a case of a district, in this district, we've had some years where it's like, look, we got to make some changes, raise a deductible, do this, do that. Doesn't work that way, right? So I think, and I'm not in an arrogant way, but we've unturned every stone. We're looking at what else is out there, and there's some things out there that we are hearing about, and I'm going to tell you, Mr. Henry, I'm not comfortable with from a both ethical and long-term legal standpoint that's out there. And that's not me, you know me. That ain't me. So, and I don't think that's you guys either. Look, you have a health program, it's a self-funded health program. You provide insurance to the employees and their beneficiary, their people, their dependents, right? This happens. And it's just happening a lot. And it's getting rough, and I don't know if there's an answer. We're gonna find it, right? And I think we do a really good job of negotiating and doing things. But like, I don't want to raise the specific deductible anymore than 300, as big as it is. That might lower some fixed costs, but the Humana thing, we looked at that, and that worked out really well. We just renegotiated the pharmacy again. These other programs, and they're coming at me like crazy. Every day I get a new email from a new. Well, this is something how we treat renal failure, or it's a infusion centers, or, send your people, force them to go here, and if you force them there, it's to save money, and these narrow network things and all. And we look at that, but to your point, it's really, you got to be careful how I say it, because some people say, no, it's not good. It's a good plan. I know what else is out there. This is a good network. It's a fair price considering what's out there. But I know it's tough on a lot of people, yeah, we're having some groups, guys, I'm going to tell y'all, that are having to do something called an ICRA, whereas they can't even have a true health plan anymore because it's gotten so out of control, and their employees are forced to go into the healthcare exchange and find a plan that is not, they don't get subsidized. The employer has to subsidize it to an extent, because those rates, which are absolutely astronomical, are better than the renewals. Like the group I had with a $3,000 family, it's all we can be able to do. Seriously. So it's the cost of healthcare what I think's gonna happen, I'm gonna get off a little bit, but I do see, when we're talking about these national networks and stuff, I do see a time coming sooner or later that those national networks don't exist as much anymore. They're gonna be much more selective networks. So in other words, Blue Cross might only be with Thibodeau but not Terrible, or Ochsner but not the Lake, or the Lake but not Ochsner. And UHC might be the other one. And I think it's because like, I don't know if y'all heard, it's all over the news, United Healthcare right now with LCMC Health. Contract ends this month, standstill. So anybody who has United Healthcare and used Children's Hospital and any of their affiliate hospitals, which they bought several of them lately, no longer network. So, and I will be honest, we have a situation with somebody that goes to the hospital in another state, which is in a network negotiation with our Medicaid program. And it's creating a problem. So it leaves people with a situation, if you have to go to a certain place and your coverage is through a certain carrier, those people are having to go buy individual coverage for, again, astronomical prices just to go to the hospital that they choose to go to. You'll never be without care, but we all know we have preferences for our care. So, yeah, we're working on it, guys. I tried not to be. Jared did a good. Dr. Martin did a lot, but Mr. Martin did a much. You got me confused when you mentioned, Mr. Martin did a much better job of saying yes. It is good. It is fairly priced right now. I do lose a little sleep over lasers, like the ones I found out about today. Yeah, so I'm trying to do the best I can. So, hey guys,
Thank you, buddy.
you got it, guys.
And this is really a Jared question. Could we, we're really working at getting our teachers' salaries up, but if we could ever find some money, could we increase that percentage where their insurance would go down?
So, yes, right now we're at 72%. If you increased it to, let's say 80%, that would probably cost, $4 to $5 million a year. Right? And with that $4 to $5 million a year, what could you do if you didn't do that? So what we've been doing, and what Buddy was referencing earlier, he knows not to come with me with an employee rate increase. He has informally come to me with an employee rate increase a few times, and I've shut him down every time and said, no, we're not doing it, because what he can see is that we've gone from 60% employer to now 72% employer funded. This money that this email has to take from your general fund and dump into the health every year is increasing. That number is increasing every year. We can continue to increase that, and it would lower the premiums for our employees, but the question is how sustainable of a path is that? And I think to the point of everybody in this room relative to our employees, we want to make our healthcare coverage competitive. We want to have something where they feel like I've got a good quality healthcare option at a price that I can afford. And to recruit and retain teachers, it's usually like the 15th question, not the first. The first, salary. The second, salary.
The third salary.
Right? So eventually you get to this, oh, by the way, how much is insurance? But and you recruited teachers. We worked as principals to hire these folks. Health insurance definitely matters. I'm not saying it doesn't, but the first and foremost thing whenever our HR department goes, they want to be able to show what our first 10 and 20-year teachers say. So as much as I would want to do that, Ms. Preeti, I was actually talking to Buddy a year ago about cutting in half our out-of-pocket maximums. We're on a glide path now where I'm just hoping we can afford what we have to just hold the line and keep what we have in place.
He wants to make it better, and I got to be the bearer of news that it costs way more money.
And you can't give them a raise and then raise their insurance because they're,
Correct.
That's a wash.
You could do that, and it would be well, thanks, but and then you would unfairly penalize those who are using the provided health insurance and then rewarding those who are getting it from someplace else, which creates wonky, lounge conversations.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, guys, I think everybody has my number. Call me anytime. If you hear about something in the street, whatever, give me a buzz. Let's talk it out. You do it. You've done it plenty of times. Henry and I have talked a couple of times. Everybody here has called me once or twice. So the same thing too. If you get an employee calls with a complaint, please send them my way. I just want to touch on that real quick. We so many times it's just the wrong information they're receiving from them, and I'm not blaming. There's just a disconnect sometimes, and sometimes you just got to connect the dots. So if you get anybody who's like, I'm not getting something approved, my doctor said it's the insurance, whatever, send them my way. So, yeah.
Myron, you controlling her mouse over here?
Yes.
We try
Thank you,
to
Mr.
wonder why my
Levy.
computer's not working.
I'm fighting against it. I know you don't want to touch it. You better not hang up on me. Okay. I'll catch you after church. That's so funny, was it?
It must have just got mixed up, but this is tied mine right now.
We'll carry on or wait
Yeah, of
until
course.
I used to have mine's computer. Aren't you really good? You're controlling everybody's computers in here.
I hold all the things I got here.
All right, guys, let's move on to item number 3, which is finance. Item A, to consider extending the current subscription services for student data collection software through January 5th, 2027, as presented by Ms. Lacey McKinney.
All right, good evening. School Status is a program we utilize for two-way communication between school personnel and students' families. This program enables school staff to easily text and email parents without exposing their personal phone numbers. It also provides the capability of bulk messages to parents or staff. We request approval to extend our subscription through January 5th, 2027 for $78,925.
Thank you. I get a motion by Ms. Babin, second by myself. Any comments or discussion? Ms. Babin?
Okay, as an educator, I just want y'all to know that this is worth every penny that we pay for it. We use it in my district, and I'm telling you, I can burn up the airwaves, and it's opened so many doors for communication. So just letting y'all know, from the inside, it's wonderful.
Parent, from my perspective, it works very smoothly. The bulk messages, the individual messages. I've actually, as a parent, had conversations with the teacher, and the teacher has been able to contact me. And like you said, it's like you're texting, but it's a number that's not, a private number for that teacher, so you don't end up in an awkward position where you've got access to this teacher's cell phone number and you can, bother them at night or whatever. But it works very well, and I've heard much positive feedback from teachers and staff as well. So definitely well worth the extension in my opinion.
I agree. I echo that. Even as a grandmother, I'm on it for my grandsons, and I enjoy getting their texts.
Any other comments? Hearing none, let us vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. With no opposition, the motion passes. Item B, to consider the Microsoft license renewal from SHI International Corp. Ms. McKinney.
This quote covers our Microsoft products, including Office and email for faculty, staff, and students. The bulk of the cost pays for 1,550 teachers and supervisory staff, including 100 gigs of storage and the ability to access programs on their personal devices. By purchasing the A3 level, accounts for staff such as bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodians are free, as well as those for students. This quote also includes the Windows Data Center and SQL, which is used to manage data between systems. We request approval to extend our Microsoft licenses through 12/31/26 via this quote from SHI for $100,567.75.
A motion by Ms. Babin, second by myself. Any discussion by the board? Ms. Bourgeois?
You said till 2031?
Well, 30.
Oh, okay.
December 31st, 2026.
See, dang, that's a quote. I'm glad I clarified that.
Any other comments from the board? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. With no opposition, the motion passes. Item C, to consider authorizing advertisement for a request for proposals for digital payment solutions, cashless systems, or after-school events, and take appropriate action. Ms. Chastity Email.
We are seeking approval to solicit RFPs for digital payment solutions or cashless apps for selling tickets for after-school events such as football games, baseball, volleyball games, and things of that nature. This would help us cut down on the amount of cash that's being handled at the schools, and then also make it less, make cash deposits after late night games go away. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish with this. Therefore, we're asking you to authorize the advertisement for the request for proposals for digital payment solutions.
Are you looking to do that for concession stands also, or just?
We're going to try to tier the implementation of this particular system, so that a way we'll start out with the games and ticket sales, and then move on to concessions.
In a perfect world, the less cash we have on campus is the better. I agree. That's what we're trying to get to. I think it's more convenient for the people that are patrons at our events and for the people who are working.
I can see the benefits also with, I know a lot of the civic, the school organizations do concessions, but it also keeps track of how they handle money and stuff like that.
That includes, I'm sorry.
I'll go ahead and make the motion.
You already motioned.
No,
Oh,
we did
I'm
not.
sorry.
We
That's-
did not. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Babin.
Absolutely.
All right, any further discussion?
That
Ms.
includes
Martinez?
middle schools, high schools and middle schools you're starting with?
For all schools,
All schools. But basically, that's the one.
middle and high schools.
It shouldn't be too much of an adjustment. I feel like most of our attendees at games are accustomed to this trend that's pretty much everywhere they're attending any other events. Even, fairs and festivals are moving to cashless systems. Not completely, but like you said, for the security of it, if nothing else. Yeah.
You're right. The people are so happy when you say, well, you can, Venmo me or whatever one would do. They're so excited about it. Oh, yeah, I use that all the time. So I think our community will like this a lot.
If no further discussion, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. No opposition, so that motion carries. Next item to discuss is item D, to consider authorizing advertisement for requests for proposals for time and attendance software system and to take appropriate action. And I believe that should have been this,
So again, we're seeking permission to solicit requests for proposals for a new timekeeping system that would better meet the needs of the district, providing less manual processes and syncing with the district's ERP system. You might remember back in December of 2022, we did ask to go out for proposals for the same software, but after the events of Hurricane Ida and everything else, things just didn't shape up. So we are asking your permission to go out for RFPs for timekeeping.
I have a motion by Ms. Babin, and I will second that. Any discussion or questions by the board?
Anything that can save time, reduce time and attendance, I know our people will be so excited. I dreaded monthly in.
And I forgot to mention, Mr. Lee is in accordance with this.
Any other comments? Hearing none, we can vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. No opposition. That motion carries. Moving on to item E, to receive monthly budget to actual report for all major funds for the period through September 30th, 2025. Ms. Email.
Our major funds, as of June 30th, 2024, were the general fund, the 1995 sales tax salary restricted funds, the salary supplement fund, the 2021 construction funds, and the hurricane recovery fund. Michelle Sun will go over the construction funds at the land and facilities meeting. The activity through the month of September 30th, 2026 includes the general fund, as indicated on page 3 of the statement. 22.3% of the revenues budgeted have been received for a total of $25,921,000. Of this amount, $19.5 million is from the minimum foundation program funding. As indicated on page 20 of the statement, 68% of the budgeted expenditures have been expended or obligated for a total of $111,702,000. The large increase from August of 2025 is due to the encumbrance or recording of all the salaries that we expect to spend throughout the year. The 1995 sales tax salary restricted fund, as indicated on page 21, revenue earned totaled $1,563,000, and as of September 30th, 2025, 35.7% of the expenditures budgeted, totaling $3,682, was expended. Salary supplement fund, we earned a revenue of totaling $4,134, which is 0.1% of the budgeted total, and as of September 30th, 2025, 0.6% of the expenditures budgeted totaled $1,297, and the low revenues and low expenditures is expected.
Thank you. Item F, to receive a periodic budget report for proprietary funds.
Yes, legislative auditor requires that we provide quarterly reports on our proprietary funds. These are our group health fund, the loss control fund, and the workers' compensation fund. As can be seen at the bottom of this report in the second column, the combined net loss as of September 30th, 2025 is $762,716. And this is to be expected because we have a lot more revenues coming in throughout the year when we have our transfers from the general fund as well, and things just not coming in as of yet. It's only 3 months into the new school year, so it will be there next time.
Thank you. Item G, to receive a financial report on Hurricane Ida response and recovery to date.
So the report ending September 30th, 2025 looks very similar to the August report, as we did not receive any revenues for the month of September. But we did, our total expenditures and encumbrance total $156,842. There were no FEMA reimbursements, as I just stated, and the total aggregate reimbursement from FEMA is $69,916,000. And of this amount, $19,916,000 was submitted to Hancock Whitney as payment of interest and principal on the hurricane loan. The total amount submitted for reimbursement and obligated by FEMA is $85,586,846.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 4, which is transportation. To receive a report of the transportation events from the previous month, and we will turn it over to Mr. Chris Ormond.
All right. So we recently recognized 62 of our transportation employees for perfect attendance for the month of September. Currently staffed with 94 drivers. We recently recommended 3 new drivers for hire. One in Thibodaux, one in Lockport, one in Raceland. We have another course scheduled to be offered the first 2 weeks of November. We actually had 2 of our own drivers recently become certified to teach the course. Previously, we were outsourcing that service from an individual out in Livingston Parish, but now we'll have our own people teaching the course, which ultimately adds, at least for us, the districts spin our perspective on the course, and they know these two ladies, Miss Chrissy Valeries and Connie Castaneda. They know what we're about and what we expect from our drivers. So in addition to teaching the course, they'll serve that role in already instilling what we expect from our employees within. So, so again, that course will be offered the first 2 weeks of November in the evening at the Career Management Center. Hoping to pick up some additional drivers from that course offering. Our new dispatcher has recently began her service in our department. So eventually the plan is our two dispatchers will I'll be able to split the fleet of drivers in half. Almost if you think of the concept of principal and assistant principal, these two ladies will serve as, in essence, assistant principals overseeing a population of drivers. More hands-on, hopefully adding more effectiveness from our department to our drivers. So Miss Sarah Richard is that new dispatcher, and she's meshing really, really well with Miss Danny. They're going to be a great tag team partner. So we recently, yesterday morning, held the mandatory pre-bid conference for the bus RFP. There were 6 companies that participated on the call. The current question answer window is open until October 21st. So since that call on yesterday, we've gotten from those individuals or those representatives some questions that came in, just asking for some more specifics in regards to the bus RFP. So that window closes on the 21st. The actual submission of RFPs is the deadline is October 30th at 10 a.m. So at that point, any of those 6 wishing to submit proposals, you should have those by 10 a.m. on that date. So I think that's about it. I'm really excited going back to Miss Connie and Chrissy. We'll be able to have those trainings or courses offered by our own people. That's good for us. It's not always easy to find availability of those course instructors. So we're excited about that.
I know Miss Connie's located in the southern part of the district.
Yes.
Where is
Chrissy's in the central part.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Excuse me, where is your November training going to be?
At the CM. Sorry, at Central Food. Central Food.
Okay. Other comments? Hearing no further business before the committee, the meeting is adjourned.